Just we'll start with this. Just if you could give an overall assessment of how you think the season went, and could you pinpoint in particular maybe where things went off for you guys?
No, I think when you look at an entire season, first of all, we didn't. I think everybody was disappointed in the season. Obviously, it started fine. We're 8-3-5, and then slowly after that faded away. And we definitely didn't get what we want, and what we wanted was to make the playoffs, and be a better team, and we didn't do so. So I think it's fair to say that there's a lot of things that we're looking at that we've looked at also. It's not like a one-day thing. We've been looking at why and what needs to be improved, and where we need to go. And so that'll be a process of, it started today, this morning, and the past days we've met as a staff also, and started evaluating everything. My work, the staff's work, the players' work. And the things that went well didn't go well, and what we need to do, and I think we need to improve everything. Basically, is going into next year, is knowing the players now. It's been 2 years now. We've seen the good side of everybody, on players and staff, and the lesser side of everybody, and get a middle ground and know what we are and where we're going, and the next days will serve as that. And to be honest with you, the next weeks are going to be about getting better.
Don Brennan, Post Media, Ottawa Sun, Ottawa Citizen. Guy, did you change the system this year, or did the players just stop playing your system because they weren't playing the same brand of hockey as they did last year?
First of all, there is no the system. It's not one system. It's you have a way of playing, and you have many different ways of playing it, and you always adjust. And there's things that we kept, things that we changed, and things that worked, things that didn't work, and things that work one game, the same things didn't necessarily work as good the next game. It's not the system. That's the easiest thing to talk about. Really, there's different phases of during the season. There's ways that we've played well for a certain stretch, and some other ways we didn't. And consistency in what we were doing is more an issue than me pinpointing a certain thing here. We take hours to talk about X's and O's here. There's a broader picture. And I think our group gelling this year was more difficult than last year. And there's a lot of work to be done in those intangibles. And it's not just on how your system is, it's who plays with who. What kind of chemistry you have with some players, what kind of attitudes, work ethic, and discipline, and whatever you're doing that particular day. Because every day you're playing against a certain opponent, and you adjust different ways against different opponents. But everything rise and falls basically on your intangibles. And last year we talked about having a soul and having everybody on the same page. And this year was more difficult to have everybody on the same page, whatever we're doing. Whatever we were choosing to do on a particular day or particular week. So that's the main thing, is to get a group that's going to be on the same page, more accountable, so that we have a better product on the ice.
Okay, were instructions not being followed the way that they were sent out, or was there communication issues? Did they not understand what you were trying to say?
No, that's not. We don't. Our players are smart, so that's not. No, it's a consistency of having the right work ethic, the right discipline, the right attitude on a consistent basis. Getting through adversity was tougher. Last year we were terrific at getting through adversity in tough times, and this year we weren't as good. Those tight games that we were winning 2-1 in overtime, or 2-1, then we were losing those ones 2-1, and so on. Last year we made the playoffs and did what we did because we were top 10 defensively. That's where it lies. And we did try to go towards more offense, and we probably lost ourselves in between. And that's definitely your ticket to making the playoffs and being you got to be in the best teams defensively. That's where it's at. So that's your ticket. Then after that, of course, you need to build your offense just as much. But if you got the offense and you don't have the defensive game, you're not going anywhere. And we weren't as good defensively this year. And last year, the fact we were top 10, we had an identity. We had something that characterized us. And that's why the guys were on the same page. And defensively, we were not as good this year. And that's a priority.
Why did you stray from that identity then? I mean, you had, like you said, the top 10 team, then the 1-3-1 and all that got you where you got to last year. Did you feel pressure to stray from that, to add the offense?
You always want to get better. You always want to bring something new to improve, and mainly there's a big part. It's a question of focus. We focused a lot on other things that we thought we weren't as good at last year, and to the detriment of what we were good at last year, and that'll be on me.
Mark and then Dan. Mark Gassard from Ottawa. Guy, how confident are you that you'll be back for next year?
I'm sorry?
How confident are you that you'll be back?
Oh, right now for me, it's we're dealing with the players today. We're dealing with meetings today. The rest of the days we're talking with the staff. So it's right now it's not about next year. Right now it's taking care of what happened this year, taking care of this week, and then I'll move on from there. But right now I want to finish this year and finish it well, because the beginning of next year starts now, really. So in the end, it's we got to make that tie right now, and that bridge between this year, making the right evaluations, making the right decisions, and then we'll move on to next year after.
My question is really along, Dan Sagan with CBC. My question really along the same lines. How much responsibility do you and your coaching staff take for what happened this year? And when will you know whether you will be back next year? Do you have any sense for that?
Oh, I think I have a contract next year. So right now I'm acting the way I need to act, because that's my job, and I'm focused on what I need to do. And that's what I'm going to be doing in the next days. And my job hasn't changed since day one I was hired. I'm here to do the best I can, and I focus on what I need to control. And right now that's what I control.
In terms of, do you have a sense for how much responsibility you'll take for what happened this past year? Is that somewhat?
I want to take as much responsibility as I can, period. That's when you look at everybody else around you and start pointing fingers, you're going in the wrong direction. It's everything that happened this year that I can control, I want to do better. And the things that I couldn't control, well, then I leave that outside. And so I want to look at it as much that I can control. And that's the way I've always done it. So I'm not going to change that. So whatever.
Specific key that you can point to and say, maybe I should have done that differently, or I will do that differently next year?
There's a whole list of things that I know I want to do better, but I'm not going to get into that today and be specific. And I think we've done that with the staff ourselves. We've looked at individually what we could have done better, as a group what we could have done better, as a synergy, how we could have had done different ways. And so for me, it's always an everyday get up and get better. So I'm not going to change my philosophy. That's whatever slap I get in the face, you get up and you get moving right now. And so for me, it's I don't want to wait in 3 weeks to figure out what I want to do better. We've already started to see what we've done that was fine, got better, and the things that were not good and didn't get better, and why. And from then on, we're certainly going to make the right decisions to move on and be better.
Guy Boucher, one of the changes you did make, I think in January though, was you switched the duties of your assistant coaches in regards to special teams.
Yes.
Nothing changed. Do you have to look at your staff?
There's a moment, when it was done, I was expecting a few weeks of transition because things were different there, and I was expecting that. Then there were some really good moments after that for both. So in that respect, we're looking at it. We're looking at the efficiency. We're also looking at who was playing there, and which guys were effective at it, which guys were not. So I think that's a sit down moment again. We talked about it already, but we're going to talk about it more. We're definitely open to as a staff to make the corrections we need to make, shuffling what we need to shuffle, and make sure that we learn from this year and grow from what we've learned.
One of the things I think you believe in is that practice is important.
Yep.
Do you feel like you practiced enough in the first half of the season? Did you give this team?
Yeah.
Did you get caught up in the rest as a weapon too much and give this team too much time off?
Oh, that's a valid question. We've talked about that. We feel that there's definitely moments that we take back and go, this was the right decision, this was a wrong one. There's moments also, with the traveling to Europe, coming back and being on the road for a long time. I don't think we managed it well there. And there's later on in the year where there's also, like, schedule-wise, it was easier also to manage and make decisions. So there's parts of the season, definitely there's times where, okay, we should have practiced here. We could have practiced harder there, or the other moments where, okay, this was not a good moment. But yeah, definitely there's something to look into there. We have already. So it's a good question. It's a valid question. That was absolutely on our agenda. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Ben, écoute, c'est sûr que je pense que la défensive, c'est toute l'équipe. Bon, fait qu'alors tu peux pas blâmer juste le gardien de but pour une erreur qu'un attaquant, puis un deuxième attaquant va commettre, puis après ça un défenseur, puis le gardien de but est obligé de te sauver par après. C'est sûr que quand tu regardes la saison, que ce soit les gardiens de but, les défenseurs, les attaquants, tout le monde peut prendre la responsabilité d'une défensive qui a été moins bonne. Alors moi, c'est pour ça que de choisir la facilité puis de pointer un gars ou deux gars en particulier, là, ça, c'est pas mon style. Je pense que comme équipe, comme staff, on veut revenir à certaines choses qui nous ont rendus bons l'année dernière. Oui, individuellement, que ce soit les gardiens de but, les défenseurs, les attaquants, faut avoir beaucoup plus faut être beaucoup plus assidu dans ce sens-là. Alors, c'est tout le monde. Alors, moi, pointer des gars en particulier, j'aime pas ça. Ben, il y a plusieurs choses qui peuvent entrer en ligne de compte. Des fois, souvent, on pense qu'on a des acquis. Puis je pense que ça, c'est un gros apprentissage dans la Ligue nationale. C'est que d'une année à l'autre, ça change complètement. Tu t'attends d'avoir acquis quelque chose, puis l'année d'après, ça recommence à zéro. Puis je l'ai dit plein de fois, on recommence à zéro, mais vraiment de le croire, c'est un autre paire de manches. Tu sais, si tu regardes l'année passée, si tu regardes New Jersey ou Colorado, ils ont fini dans la cave, puis là, cette année, ils sont dans les séries. Alors, tu sais, puis il y a des rôles inversés, autant nous que d'autres équipes qui étaient dans le top sont rendues dans le bas. Donc, sans parler de changement de personnel, juste en parlant d'attitude puis de mentalité, tu penses toujours que tu as acquis quelque chose l'année d'avant. En réalité, c'est tout à recommencer à zéro. Alors, je pense que notre climat, je pense, pour moi, était correct au début, mais à un moment donné, ça s'est effrité parce que c'était comme si on n'était pas supposé perdre contre l'adversaire, autour de l'autre adversaire, alors que c'est un match de la Ligue nationale. Tout ce qu'on a fait l'année dernière, ça compte pas, c'est à recommencer. Je pense pas qu'on avait, en général, le même type d'urgence. Je pense que l'année dernière, tout le monde était en mission, tout le monde avait peur de perdre, tout le monde comprenait comment difficile c'était de gagner un match dans la Ligue nationale, tandis que probablement cette année, avec ce qu'on avait fait, tu penses que tu es encore là, tu es encore aussi bon, puis que c'est les mêmes circonstances, alors que c'est pas ça du tout. La fin d'une année, c'est le résultat de tout ce que tu as bâti durant l'année, dans tes relations, dans ton travail, dans ton éthique, dans ta discipline et tout ça, ce qui fait que tu te bâtis jour après jour quelque chose de solide. Mais quand tu reviens toujours à ce que tu es supposé être, tu n'as pas la bonne approche. Alors, je pense pas que personne va se l'avouer, mais moi, je pense que ça a joué cette année. Je pense que, pas qu'on n'avait pas faim, Mais je pense qu'on avait probablement en tête qu'on était déjà arrivé à certains niveaux, alors que ce niveau-là doit s'atteindre à chaque année. Alors, je pense que les déceptions étaient plus grosses dans les matchs. C'était plus difficile de passer d'un match à l'autre parce que je trouvais que ça nous atteignait plus parce qu'on n'était pas supposé perdre tel match ou on était déçu de tel match. Puis ça revient beaucoup au succès qu'on était supposé avoir ou qu'on avait déjà eu. Alors ça, je pense que c'est une approche qui va être différente l'année prochaine. Par le simple fait qu'on finit dans le bas. Alors là, c'est sûr que tout le monde comprend que ça recommence à zéro, puis on a beaucoup de travail à faire. Et puis ça, c'est un travail de tous les jours. Puis tu peux pas revenir au passé. Il faut que tu sois dans le présent et il faut que tu ailles faim. Alors je pense que ça, c'est une attitude définitivement qui va être présente juste par la nature des choses, mais aussi parce que tout le monde va être extrêmement vigilant. On sait comment difficile que c'est de gagner dans la Ligue nationale, puis ça prend rien pour glisser.
Hi, Guy. Terry Marcotte from CTV. Do you think you have the pieces here to turn it around?
I always think you got the pieces when I come in. And whatever we got, in my mind, that's what you got, and that's what you got to win with, and you got to believe that you have it. So there's going to be changes, I'm sure, but my mindset doesn't change. When I came in last year, I didn't wonder, do we have the pieces? I thought we got the pieces, and let's go. And so that's what I have to believe in, and I believe that we're going to improve as a group because there's going to be new faces. But we're also going to improve because we found out about a lot of things this year, and knowing what we saw, learning from it, and growing from it. Every individual is going to be better for it, but as a group, we're also going to be better for it. So, yeah, every year I go in thinking I want to win. That's it.
And if I can just follow up, did you learn a lot about individual players through adversity this year?
Absolutely. It's been 2 years now. Obviously there's guys that were in and out. That's a little bit more difficult. But when you get to live 2 seasons, 2 different circumstances, groups, and all that, you get to see who's who, but you also get to see some people that have more difficulties, having to deal with some personal stuff too. That's part of it, and I think that's our job also to recognize that in the big picture. But I think with 2 years now, there's a lot of stuff that we've seen, in the good times and the bad times. And so right now, it's not just to hang on the good times. You learn more through adversity. You learn more through tough times, and we learned a lot this year. That's for sure. And that has to serve, and it will. And that's part of the growth. And I look at some teams that had to live some tough times last year, are doing really well this year. And it's because they learned from it, and that's what we're going to do.
Guy, it's Ken Warren, Post Media. We've heard a bit from Pierre Dorian and Eugene Mello about getting younger and faster. You're going to have a younger team next year, regardless. How this shakes out. Does that change the coaching philosophy? Do you have to put up with more sort of mistakes on the fly? How do you approach it? Because you're probably going to have a younger team next year, and guys are going to make more mistakes.
There'll be more mistakes, but there'll be enthusiasm. There'll be energy, and there'll be, sometimes a blank sheet is refreshing too. The kids come in and they're a sponge. They grasp everything you're trying to do. And sometimes it's hard because it's hard for them to adjust, but that's part of the job. And we've had some young guys this year that have done really well. And you look at Shabbat, keeps growing. Well, you're hoping that the next guys that are going to come in, they're going to be in that same frame of mind. And I don't see why not. I think the kids that are coming and the kids that we have right now are good people, and they want to learn and they want to win. And I think in that respect, we're definitely going to welcome that. I think it gives you a good mix. Obviously, if your young guys are not ready, then it becomes overwhelming and all that. But I think we want to believe that there'll be some young guys for which it won't be overwhelming, and it'll be a good growth pattern, and then we're going to be able to rely on that.
And just follow that up, was that part of the balance a little bit off this year? Do you think that he needed more speed or you needed more?
Well, I mean, like you said, Pierre stated it. We all. That's where the league is. So I don't think it's necessarily us particularly. Everybody's looking for speed. Everybody's looking for speed of execution also, not just speed. I mean, some guys are not as fast with their legs, but their brains go extremely fast. I mean, you look like a guy like Stone, for instance. I mean, his brain works extremely fast. And that's the type of person you want to build your team around. He's a bright guy. He's a guy that had a terrific season. Really, when you look at how we were playing and how we were doing things, he did it the right way, and he got success. And there's other guys like Zingle, for instance, who had his best season, and so on. So yeah, there are some stories this year that were tougher and tougher circumstances, but there are people through that have done really well. And the mix, I think, of basically, you want to get the best mix possible. Sometimes you're really young, and then now you're looking at getting some leadership, older guys, and sometimes you got older guys that you feel are losing speed or so on. Then you got to get some speed. But in the end, it's the best mix. Whether it's Boston this year, he gets a really good mix. I think that helped them a lot. Same thing with New Jersey. They got some young guys that came in with some speed and some drive, and they definitely playing the same way. Created a lot more of what they were trying to do. So obviously that's something we're looking forward to.
Guy, Nicolas Saint-Pierre du Unique FM, j'ai deux questions. Un, si tu reviens l'an prochain, comme tu l'indiques, est-ce que tu as l'intention de ramener toute ton équipe d'entraîneurs? Puis l'autre question que j'aurais, c'est s'il y a un point positif sur lequel on peut bâtir pour l'an prochain. Y a-t-il quelque chose que tu as retenu cette année que tu as ressorti un peu positivement?
C'est parce que tu peux rien prendre pour acquis. Ça, c'est la leçon dans la Ligue nationale. On dit toujours qu'on va bâtir pour X années, puis mais la réalité, c'est que c'est à chaque année. À chaque année, ça a sa propre histoire, ça a son propre développement, ses circonstances, puis il faut être capable de gérer ça du mieux qu'on peut pour avoir du succès cette année-là, puis après ça, on passe à la prochaine année, parce que souvent, on pense que dans 1 an puis dans 2 ans, je me rappelle dans le junior, on s'attendait dans 2 dans 3 ans qu'on allait être une équipe prête, puis ça a pris 1 an, puis l'année d'après, on a gagné le championnat. À un moment donné, il faut que tu gères pour l'année prochaine, puis la prochaine année prochaine, tu vois ce qui avance, puis tu vois ce qu'il y a de la difficulté à avancer, puis tu prends des décisions à ce moment-là, mais c'est sûr que tu dois penser à cette année. C'est pour ça que l'année, en ce moment, nous autres, on n'a pas fini nos meetings, on n'a pas fini tout ça. Fait que tu me parles de staff, tout ça, on a tellement de discussions à avoir que oui, on est dans une position, il faut tout évaluer. Puis moi, évidemment, j'ai confiance aux gens qui sont autour de moi. Ils ont mis tellement de travail. Alors moi, je suis avec eux. Alors on est un groupe.
Guy, Jonathan Jobin de Radio-Canada, tu as parlé durant la saison du calendrier difficile et je crois que tu l'as abordé un petit peu en anglais aussi. Comment vous auriez pu, avec l'équipe, mieux gérer ça? Et en deuxième temps, est-ce que l'équipe va faire un peu de pression sur la Ligue nationale pour avoir un calendrier qui a un peu plus de bon sens que des 2-en-2 à domicile à l'étranger, c'est-à-dire tout le temps?
Écoute, moi, c'est parce que je veux pas finir l'année en trouvant des excuses, là, les cédules, puis les ci, puis les ça. Ce qu'on a à gérer, il faut bien le gérer. On a appris des choses. Il y a des moments qu'on a bien géré ce qu'on avait à faire, comme par exemple quand on est allé en Suède. Là-bas, ça a été super bien géré. On a eu du succès tout ça. Quand on est revenu, on a eu de la difficulté à manager, à gérer ça. On n'a pas bien géré ce stretch-là qui était beaucoup sur la route. Alors, c'est sûr que ça, on a eu des discussions que la prochaine fois, dépendamment si on sort d'un avion après tel nombre d'heures et tout ça, tel type d'entraînement qu'on devrait avoir, puis ça, c'est clair qu'on va s'ajuster là-dessus. Ça nous a appris beaucoup. Puis plus tard dans la saison aussi, on a vu des moments où on était plus à la maison. Ça aussi, c'est une autre sorte de gérance. Alors, il y a... si on compare l'année d'avant avec cette année, il y a eu des choses qui ont été différentes. Donc, ça nous permet de comparer et de voir comment on va être capable l'année prochaine, dans des situations similaires, de pouvoir gérer ça. Fait que c'est clair que ce soit la cédule ou quelque chose d'autre, pour moi, je veux pas me cacher en arrière de ça pour faire des excuses. Là. Je veux prendre la responsabilité comme entraîneur dans tous les niveaux que moi je contrôle pour être certain que je passe pas à côté de ce que je peux contrôler.
Hi, it's Sandra Abma at CBC. We saw over this weekend your entire league unite in grief because of the events that happened in Humboldt. And I just wondered if you could share some of the thoughts, obviously talking to the players about this tragedy that's hit so close to home.
Yeah, this. I mean, there's a lot of people that have talked about it and did a terrific job of I think relaying the sympathies and condolences and offering prayers and strength to the people that are directly related to those events. Obviously as a hockey man, I've lived many years, and 9 years in junior and more in other leagues, and buses and trips and how things work in the hockey world, and you can definitely relate. I can't even imagine, to be honest with you. I don't think there's words really to explain and say really what you can really feel and experience when you hear about things like that. And I can just think of the parents and.
When you think about hockey and what it means to this country, have you ever felt it like more, if I could say, manifested in the sense of how this country feels about hockey and its players and how it's reacted to the meaning of hockey in Canada? Yeah,
you know what? I think my whole life I've been around hockey, and I think it's there's a sense around the hockey world that it's kind of a community, really, and it is. Once you finish your career, even players you play against that you hated, all of a sudden now you're buddies with, and you can think of the past and reminisce and have this bond. It's a special bond. Once you're in that business as a player and as a coach and as a staff and as management, you're able to relate to each other, and you get these terrific stories over the years, and so. You think when there's finalities like that and events like that it just brings you back to your life, and if something like that were to happen to you and really your kids, really, that's a tough part.
To answer the question in some way in French from my Radio Canada colleagues, please.
Oui, ben ce qu'on disait aujourd'hui, c'est on parlait des événements qui sont déroulés à Saskatchewan, évidemment, comment difficile c'est, je pense, de penser à ce que ces gens-là vivent, puis comment on pourrait leur envoyer du support, de l'amour, puis des prières. Je pense que dans la communauté du hockey en général, je pense que c'est une communauté qui est quand même assez très liés, puis des liens qui sont tissés assez forts. Alors même quand c'est des ennemis, c'est des joueurs d'autres équipes, des entraîneurs, quand tout ça c'est fini, on s'aperçoit qu'il y a un lien entre tous ces gens-là. Alors je pense qu'on se sent, même si on est loin, même si on n'est pas concerné directement, on se sent très concerné par les événements qui ont eu lieu. Puis je peux même pas imaginer ce que les parents vivent là-bas.
Do you feel your message was still getting through to the team when things started to go downhill a bit?
Yeah, yes, because the work ethic was there and the willingness to come back the next game and be better was there. And so I definitely have to give that to the players. They definitely tried to be better every time that we were out there. And so it was tough. It was a tough season. It became heavy. But the one thing I had no issues inside the room. I had no problems in relations between players or staff and all that. So we were lucky that way. We didn't have to deal with those kind of issues and the work ethic the next day and so on and so on. So it's I have to be fair to the players. I think that the adjustments we need to make and the things we need to do are at another level than that. I think it's the players have been extremely receptive. So I'm definitely not gonna throw any of those players under the bus for those reasons, because they cared. They really cared, and they found it tough, like we did, and we won as a team, and then we lost as a team. That's one thing I can say. So by the end, it was definitely still a team, and that's the one thing, to be honest with you, that impressed me, is that day in, day out, they were still coming out and still as disappointed when we weren't winning, and still wanted it the next day to get better and coming individually for meetings and wanting to watch video and wanting to get better and finding solutions. So in that respect, definitely that was something that was untouched. I think it's we have to find solutions in other ways. That was not an issue.
So, people can't help but make the comparisons to your time in Tampa, where great first season, not so good the second. Same now heading into your third. How do you look at that at all and question how is this possible? The same thing?
No. Different players, different teams. First of all, different players and different teams from year to year, different circumstances. I always believed that whatever I did, it's the same thing as sometimes you had 2 great seasons and then the year after it wasn't. So it's not the order of things. It's every year is a different story. And that's the beauty of it, is every year you have a chance to do something good. It's like every day. If I'm having a bad day today, it's not because I'm having a bad day today that tomorrow is going to be a bad day. And it's not because last Monday was a bad one, the next Monday is going to be a bad one. And if it is a bad one, it has nothing to do with the last Monday. So I think when you stay stuck on things that are apples and oranges, then you're certainly not making the right assessments. And so I think years ago, and this year to last year, for me, the 2 different years, completely different situations that you have to deal with, and we did a better job of managing it last year than we did this year, and next year is a whole new story, and with new possibilities.
Ça a été une saison pas ordinaire pour Erik Karlsson. Opération a été passée, début de saison difficile, rumeur d'échange. À quel point que tout, en plus de ce qui est arrivé à la fin, à quel point que ça a affecté son leadership sur l'équipe, à quel point que ça a affecté toute l'équipe au complet, tout ce qu'il y avait autour d'Erik Karlsson?
Ben écoute, ce qui est vraiment le fun, là, c'est que là, il va pouvoir boire son été pour s'entraîner. Là. Je pense que ça a été le gros problème. C'est pas juste l'opération. L'opération, déjà, c'était délicat. C'est des mois de récupération, sans entraînement. Alors, ce qui fait que là, cet été, il va pouvoir bénéficier d'un vrai été comme un athlète normal. Rattraper ce qu'une jambe n'a pas rattrapé sur l'autre, parce qu'elle n'est pas encore pareille. Donc, pouvoir rattraper ça, ce qui va faire que mentalement, il va être à la bonne place, émotionnellement, il va être à la bonne place, puis ça lui donne la possibilité après ça d'être lui-même. Alors, c'est l'été qui s'en vient pour lui qui va pouvoir le faire respirer puis être lui-même. Puis alors, c'est normal. Je pense qu'il n'y a pas un humain que je connais qui aurait pu gérer ça. Pour arriver au camp d'entraînement, pas d'été, pas de camp d'entraînement, là, puis jouer des matchs tout de suite, puis performer, puis être lui-même, c'est impossible. Alors, on savait que ça allait prendre du temps, on savait que ça allait être difficile, lui aussi, mais quand tu le vis, tu t'aperçois que c'est encore plus difficile que tu penses. Alors, j'ai beaucoup de compassion pour ce qu'il y a eu à vivre. Maintenant, c'est fini, alors on peut passer à d'autres choses, voir Erik Karlsson en santé.
Alex Pilote d'Unique FM. Coach, vous avez mentionné qu'une des affaires qui vous avait amené autant de succès l'an dernier, c'était le fait que votre équipe était une unité de 1 et était tous sur la même page. Mais qu'est-ce qui a changé par rapport à ce niveau-là de cette année à l'an passé?
Comme j'ai dit tantôt, je me rappelle plus si je l'ai dit en français ou en anglais, là, quand tu as acquis quelque chose, tu as tendance à penser que c'est encore là. Puis, on voulait améliorer certaines choses offensivement, puis ça, on a probablement passé d'un à l'autre trop, puis on est resté pris entre les deux, à être moyen d'un deux, à pas assez bon d'un deux. Alors, pour rentrer dans les séries, il faut que tu sois bon défensivement, il faut que ton équipe soit sur la même page, puis l'année passée, on était excellent, puis on voulait bâtir plus d'offensive, mais je pense que le ratio, que ce soit dans les entraînements, que ce soit dans les meetings, que ce soit dans les décisions, on a probablement... on s'est probablement éloigné de ce qui nous a rendu bon l'année dernière. Puis, dans n'importe quoi que tu fais dans la vie, tu vas être confiant quand tu as une identité et tu es très bon dans quelque chose. Si tu es moyen, tu ne peux pas être confiant. Alors, cette identité-là qu'on avait, qui était une équipe très difficile à percer, individuellement, on le sentait aussi avec les joueurs. Tandis que cette année, tu voyais que la concentration était des fois sur d'autres choses, alors que ça, c'était vraiment le cœur de notre succès l'année dernière. Alors, il faut revenir au cœur de notre succès, puis il faut ajouter ce qu'on a ajouté, mais sans délaisser le cœur de notre succès.
Puis, deuxième dernière question, coach. Je pense que cette année, on a vu que la ligne est très mince entre être en troisième ronde des séries éliminatoires et être dans le bas du classement. C'est les intangibles que vous avez mentionnés, c'est ce qui est déterminant que la balance peut pencher d'un côté comme de l'autre. C'est quoi ces intangibles-là?
Ben, écoute, c'est sûr qu'à un moment donné, les intangibles, c'est pas compliqué, là, c'est l'individu, lui puis son environnement, ce qui lui arrive, son état d'esprit. Ensuite, là, c'est les relations entre les individus, c'est la chimie, c'est ton leadership. Alors, c'est tout ça qui fait que c'est la colle. Fait que, quand les gens parlent des systèmes, des ci, des ça, là, ça, c'est pas la colle. La colle, c'est les gens à l'intérieur. Alors, les joueurs, le staff et tout ça, tu as une chimie qui se forme, tu as une synergie qui se forme, puis ça, c'est que ça grandit, puis ça devient très fort, puis c'est ça qui tient tout. Alors, il faut s'arranger pour que l'année prochaine, que les joueurs soient sur la même page, qu'on ait plus de responsabilités, qu'on se responsabilise plus individuellement par rapport à ce qu'on a à faire pour qu'on ait un tout qui se tient davantage. Alors ça, c'est clair que ça va être le focus de notre été. Alors, qu'est-ce qu'on a amélioré? Évidemment, on en a une liste de choses qu'on veut améliorer, mais en tout, il va falloir que ça se tienne. Alors, c'est là que l'année passée, on disait on était sur la même page, les joueurs on avait un esprit dans cette équipe-là, en anglais, on disait « we have a soul ». Alors, il faut redévelopper ça avec les joueurs qu'on va avoir, les nouveaux joueurs, les nouveaux éléments, ce qu'on a eu plus de difficultés à faire cette année, pour différentes raisons. Puis, je ne veux pas commencer à trouver des excuses de ci, de ça. C'est qu'en bout de ligne, peu importe ce qui est arrivé, peu importe qui on avait, la responsabilité, c'est de créer un groupe qui se tient. Alors, on a des bonnes personnes, on n'a pas de problème à l'intérieur de la chambre. Par contre, c'est pas parce que tu n'as pas de problème que tu bâtis quelque chose de solide qui se tient. Alors, c'est là qu'il faut aller.